When it comes to talking about classic rock, the Beach Boys take a lot of crap. For a lot of people, you either love their surfing and car music or you dismiss them as oldies music not to be taken seriously. And for a lot of these people, there doesn't seem to be a lot in between. And yes, there's a great deal of population that understands the brilliance of Pet Sounds, the incredible scope of Good Vibrations, the genius of Brian Wilson, and the mystery of the abandoned but eventually completed, kind of sort of, Smile album, which is a whole other can of worms I don't want to get into right now. Separate video, I'll get to it eventually. Suffice it to say that in the late 60s and 70s, the Beach Boys fell out of favor with most of the people that had loved and followed them. Their albums were largely ignored, and more than a few of them went out of print, until many people were completely unaware that they were even still recording in the 1970s. But there's a whole lot of music between Good Vibrations and 1988's Kokomo that remained almost inaccessible for a long time. In 1993, a comprehensive box set of oldies, rarities, classic tracks, and demos came out called Good Vibrations, 30 Years of the Beach Boys, and lo and behold, right there on disc 4, songs people were not even aware of or hadn't even heard for years. Interest in those albums started to pick back up to the point where today, people are rediscovering this era and fascinated by the maturity, creativity, and artistic approach of much of this material during this time. You see, after the Smile debacle, again, another video, Brian Wilson stepped back and Carl Wilson had to step forward and help steer the band through a very difficult period. As good as some of these late 60s and early 70s albums are, there are still some issues with some of the songs that made the final cut on each of these releases. And of these two first albums of the 1970s Sunflower and 71 Surf's Up, Surf's Up is the one that left me the most confused. Some of the songs on this album are magnificent. Carl Wilson's Long Promised Road, Brian Wilson's Till I Die, both bold artistic statements. Even Disney Girls by Bruce Johnson, a song that a lot of people found too mild and sentimental in its desire to return to a simpler time. Well, it's still gorgeous and well constructed, honestly. Other songs baffled me and left me blankly staring at my turntable the first time I listened to them. Student Demonstration Time, a reworking of the classic song Riot in Cell Block No. 9, just seemed forced. It also came off as unnecessary after Neil Young's classic song Ohio pretty much became the defining artistic statement regarding the National Guard shootings at Ohio State University in 1970. Take a load off your feet? Well, it was just silly, I'm sorry. And A Day in the Life of a Tree, guest vocalist, their manager, Jack Riley, in the off-kilter arrangement, let's just say if someone walked into the room and saw the name Beach Boys and what I was listening to, I would have died. What I didn't know is that album wasn't even supposed to be called Surf's Up. It wasn't even supposed to include the song Surf's Up, which was a Smile Session leftover, and the entire album was supposed to be called LandLocked. Everyone in the band had to agree on the playlist, and some of the songs that were intended to be on the album didn't make it. Hearing some of these songs might help understand what this album could have and should have been. To name a few, Dennis Wilson's Wouldn't It Be Nice to Live Again and 4th of July. They were recorded in early 1971, but he pulled them from consideration when he felt they didn't fit where the album was headed. Contemporary opinions and reimagined playlists seem to disagree strongly. H.E.L.P. is on the Way, one of Brian Wilson's compositions, was also left off the album, which, well, although interesting and fun, I can kind of see why it didn't make it. Mike Love's Big Sur was cut and rearranged with a different time signature for their 1973 Holland album. I like the original better. Two other Dennis Wilson songs, Sound of Free, recorded with co-writer Daryl Dragon, and San Miguel, left over for Sunflower, show his strong songwriting talents at the time and are often talked about as possible contributions, along with Mike Love's surprisingly strong Sweet and Bitter. So here's what I did. Just for fun, I went around the internet and looked up some people's fixed versions of Surf's Up back to what they thought would have been a stronger album. Some people still called it Surf's Up, left the song in, which is what I originally did. And some people took it off and changed it back to the title of Landlocked, which is what I've done in my version. So if you want to get a better idea of what the 1971 album by the Beach Boys might have sounded like had they focused on their stronger material, you can dig around on the internet and find these lists and put together a similar project. Or you can go with mine. There is a disclaimer. There are songs added here which may or may not have made the final album cut upon the original release, but the goal for me was to put together the strongest album with the best material written by the band members themselves during this overall period. Here's what I got. Don't Go Near the Water, Long Promised Road, Sound of Free, Disney Girls, Big Sur, the original version in 4/4 time, trust me, 4th of July, Feel Flows, Mike Love's Sweet and Bitter, Looking at Tomorrow, a welfare song, San Miguel, Till I Die, not the re-release version, the original. And for lastly, Wouldn't It Be Nice to Live Again? All of these songs can be found on the 2021 box set Field Flows, which covers the Sunflower and Surf's Up eras comprehensively. Go ahead and give this playlist a shot and tell me what you think. Or better yet, put together your own playlist from that era and comment back to me. Maybe I'll like it better. I'm Jamie Stone, Rock History Savant.